Hi, Life Coach Tom Walters here in Toronto, Canada, sharing 2 strategies on how you can create more positive moments in your day. There is an external strategy and an internal strategy. The external strategy is a word filter that alerts you to the presence of negativity and can create a small moment of time to slow down an old habit of auto-emotional attachment to the projected negativity. I'll share some words on the variables around listening to and speaking the words in the filter. The dynamics of the internal strategy involve writing. In a separate video, I share a 5-step writing process to address the negative emotions triggered by the stories of our issues and challenges that seem to randomly recycle through our mind. First, the external tool on the language around us. This is an 18-word filter consisting of 6 pronouns, 6 negative verbs, and 6 connecting words. The 6 pronouns are I, you, he, she, they, and we. Of the 6, I and you have the most emotional impact, as I can express my own lack of personal resources, as in I didn't, and you is used in a criticism of this lack, you didn't. The 6 verbs used with the pronouns are don't, won't, can't, didn't, haven't, and shouldn't, and any verb ending in N'. The connecting words link or describe conversational content with negativity. These words are but, because, however, hate, annoy, and should. Hearing and speaking, the 6 pronoun and 6 verb combinations have slightly different dynamics when triggering potential negativity. Let's briefly look at I and you used with the 6 negative verbs. When you hear I don't, I won't, I can't, etc., you're hearing someone express their lack of motivating resources. When you speak with I don't, I won't, I can't, I didn't, etc., you are expressing your lack of discipline or resources to complete something. You has even more negative power. When you hear you didn't, you won't, you can't, you haven't, etc., you're being criticized. Here, the source of the criticism is important. At work, could be a stressed peer or a negative boss. Protect your security and apply awareness to the words of the boss. And you can learn to set boundaries with a peer. Family criticisms are always tricky, while social criticisms may present a choice to stay or leave. Now, when you speak with you didn't, you won't, you can't, you shouldn't, you are criticizing others, and they feel similar negative emotions triggered and felt when you get criticized. Perhaps some awareness of your language choices may provide some insights of where some possible relationship challenges exist. The use of the pronouns he, she, they, plus the negative verbs is gossip, whether you are hearing it or speaking it. This may be a weak attempt for more power and control feelings, or some validation and approval if there's agreement from the listener. The use of we plus negative verbs may be inviting others to participate in a perceived lack, such as we didn't. There's also positive potential in we didn't, as perhaps there's other ideas to pursue. The connecting words but, because, however, hate, annoy, or should are used mid-sentence to counter any preceding data. For example, the use of but is used to expose faults. Because discounts the preceding data. However, suggests the perception of something wrong. Hate is a blatant negative emotional projection. Annoy expresses a personal emotional attitude. And should promotes defensiveness or obligation. So pay attention to the I and you negative verb combinations as they can positively impact your emotional awareness. He, she, they, and we plus negative verb combinations can create strategic options when you limit their use. Awareness of the use of these filtering words can create an emotional gap or pause in the habitual, automatic triggering of emotional reactions to the negative content around these words. The pause you can create develops a more focused listening ability, where an opportunity arrives to analyze the relevance of the speaker's words. This brief outline of the external listening and speaking filter is from my book titled Creating Positive Moments, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Thank you for listening.